Peru. This South American country is home to some of the ancient world's greatest mysteries, including the incredible megalithic sites of Sacsayhuaman and Ollantaytambo, as well as the strange band of holes that stretches across the Pisco Valley, and the thousands of massive geoglyphs known as the Nazca Lines. Here, in the small coastal town of Paracas, archaeologists discovered yet another ancient mystery, some of the most unusual elongated skulls ever found.
Amongst the strangest elongated skulls in the world are those from Paracas in Peru. As early as 1928, under the leadership of an archaeologist there by the name of Julio Tillo, uncovered dozens and dozens of these skulls that look incredibly strange. They are seriously elongated.
I've seen some of these skulls in various museums, and they are just astonishing. It's outrageous how long some of the skulls are. They literally just go up and up and up. Often they have ginger or red hair on them, or sometimes blonde hair, and some of the jaws are very big as well. But it's just the cranial mass inside it. It's almost like they must have had larger heads, because they look much bigger than any other skulls I've seen anywhere on the planet.
These deserts of southern Peru are super dry. It rarely rains there. So therefore, the skeletal material that they're able to excavate from the graveyards and pyramids and things in that area are very, very well preserved.
Given the remarkable quality of these skulls, researchers have been able to study them in great detail. And they have found several anomalies that challenge the theory that they are all the result of head binding. One anomaly present in several of the Paracas skulls is the absence of a sagittal suture, which is the seam where the two parietal bones of the skull come together.
The elongated skulls lack what we call the sagittal suture, which goes from here to the back. Only this suture is visible, which baffles most scientists.
The Paracas skulls are missing the key sagittal suture that indicates that this is a human skull. So if there's no suture, we have to be open to the question, are these in fact non-human skulls?
Now, according to science, sutures only disappear when an individual achieves old age. And in many of these elongated skulls, the individual is not old. Some of these individuals, in fact, are children.
The Paracas skulls also present anomalies in terms of the measurements of facial features and openings in the skulls.
In some cases, the eye sockets are about 20 to 25% larger on the elongated skulls. The jaw is bigger, and there are two holes in the back of the skull, which were likely for blood and nerve flow, which you do not find in a typical human skull. Also, what we call the foramen magnum, which is where the spinal cord enters the bottom of the skull, is a full inch or 2.5 centimeters back from where it should be, because in us, it's at the perfect balance point. But with the elongated skulls, it's 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch backwards. And I think that's compensation genetically for the skull having a tendency of wanting to move backwards.
The foramen magnum being off where it should be by a full 2 centimeters is not a small thing. That's highly unusual. And when you see that in an elongated skull, you have to ask if this is a human skull.
Another unusual feature found on some of the Paracas skulls is a prominent ridge that appears on the forehead.
What's important with these skulls is this bump here, this forehead ridge right here, because this is something that you really cannot achieve with artificial head binding.
But perhaps the most intriguing abnormality of all is that some of the Paracas skulls are significantly larger in volume than a normal human skull should be.
What we find among the oldest of the Paracas skulls is that their cranial volume is about 20% larger than a normal human being, especially a modern human being.
Practices like head binding and cradle boarding change the shape of a child's skull, but they do not make it larger. So what's going on here?
I think that the Paracas people were closely related to Homo sapiens sapiens, but I think there were subspecies that were able to interbreed with what we call humans.